Okay, that looks like it might be a mo better. Hopefully everybody's back on. Let me refresh over here. So just so you know, because I know you are fascinated by the technical aspects of all of this, I did actually have it done right, and then at the last second I decided to go be sure my do not disturb function was activated, and when I came back in, it came back in as portrait, even though it was sitting here showing me landscape, because that's just how my camera rolls, and me and Facebook. Okay, so let us try that again as if that never ever happened. Hey Fran, hey Patricia, hi Kathy and Amy, appreciate you joining the second time. Sorry about that. As I hit go live, it hit live and showed up in the portrait vision, so that's why we had to kind of start again. Hi Mary. Now we have to sit up as yes, you do have to sit up. I'm so sorry. Hi, Faith. Yes, you did lose me because I cut out. I had to shut it off and start over again so that we could get in the right orientation, because the wrong orientation is very disorienting. See what I did there? All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Jean and Sharon and Janet. Appreciate you joining. Oh, cold, wet, and windy. Yeah, you can have it, Mary. We have had an absolutely gorgeous day here today. Hi, Tish. Karen, Carol, appreciate you joining. Okay, so let's get going. This week, if you guys are part or watch Split Coast Stampers at all, you may have seen this technique. It was one of the Wednesday tutorials that happened. It's a layering kind of a technique. How long my connection works? On a ferry boat. Well, good luck for that. You can watch the replay tomorrow if you need to. Kathy, it looks like you're getting snow. Uh-huh. Yeah. The Arctic what is it? The bomb cyclone. Did you guys get hit by the bomb cyclone? And Janie is waiting for the storm. So I am so very happy that I do not have a storm headed this direction. Hey, Julie, glad you could join tonight. I do appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So this is the card that I gave you the sneak peek of. You can see it is in Flirty Flamingo, Crumb Cake, and Mossy Meadow as my color palette. And the front is this new Breathtaking Bouquet stamps background stamp, and it is absolutely a stunning stamp. I can't say enough about how gorgeous this is. And you can see it's beautiful, even not colored. But think how this would be if you were a coloring maven, which I am certainly not. Hey, Cynthia, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hi, Donna. Hi, Barbara. You can see that even without coloring it, it is truly spectacular. And then for the sentiment, I used the Happy Birthday to You stamp set, and this is from Celebration. So they're both going to come on the 4th of January. They'll be available to customers. And this one you'll be able to get for free with a $50 purchase from either any of the catalogs or the clearance rack or anything. Any $50 purchase before shipping and tax will allow you to pick this as one of your goodies. We have a lot of goodies to select from. So Celebration is a really fun time. It's January through March, and it's a great time to get a lot of free goodies, I'm just saying. And then, of course, the Breathtaking Bouquet is in the January through June mini catalog, the artist formerly known as the Occasions catalog. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to make this. It's really quite simple. But it gives you kind of a stunning looking card. Now, all of the card cuts will be on my blog tomorrow, so don't worry about that. We'll set that aside. I'm using a crumb cake card base. Hi, Kay. Glad you're here too, Julie. Rainy and cold. Yeah, you can just keep it. Y'all can keep your rainy and cold and snowy and cold and all your end colds. You can have it. So we have a regular 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch crumb cake card base, scored and folded at 5.5. I've got a little bit of matting. My mats are Mossy Meadow, and then I have a piece of Whisper White for the inner liner, and I have a piece of Whisper White and one of Flirty Flamingo, and these are both the exact same size. Now, let me just tell you that this technique really kind of demands a Stampopotamus. Just saying, all right? It really does kind of demand a stamp positioner of some sort, and obviously I'm a little bit prejudiced towards the Stamparatus because I believe it is about as good as it gets right here. All right, now get my magnets taken apart. So here's how you do this. With any background stamp, especially one where you're really going to use a full card front size piece of cardstock, I tend to cut my panel larger than I want. You can see here the edge, especially when using the Stamp-N-Lingers, where you're going to put your card right up against the edge, right up against the wall, if you will. That is going to cause this unstamped portion to be on your card front. So don't do what I just did. But what I did is I cut this a little bit bigger than what I needed lengthwise. I'm going to go ahead and cut it down to 3 3/4 widthwise, just to be sure I don't mess it up, because you know, messing up is kind of how I roll. So what I did to that one, I need to do to the white one that goes underneath, and part of that is so that I get identical images on both pieces of cardstock, okay? Identical images on both pieces of cardstock, because that's how you make it look like it's continuing right across the panel. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my mossy, or no, that's not mossy meadow. This is obviously Flirty Flamingo. Hello. I'm setting it over here in the corner, okay? And you can see it's going to stamp with this image. And what I am using is crumb cake. All right. And so I'm just going to ink up this Breathtaking Bouquet stamp right here. Just ink, 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 ink. Or tap, 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 however you prefer. And then I'm going to set it down and give it a good rub. All right. Yes, Karen, it's the same kind of thing as with crackle paint. And then I'm going to pick it up. And it's not exactly as perfect as I want, so thanks to the Stamp-N-Lingers, I can fix that. Just ink it up again. Okay. Make sure my panel hasn't moved. And set it back down. And give it another good rub. All right. And I like how that turned out, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to put the white panel in the exact same place, okay? Well, we'll use this one that I just cut. All right. Now, this one is a little less critical that it be perfect all over it, because as you can see, you're really only going to see this middle portion, okay? But I'm just going to make sure I've got it as good as I need it to be, just for duckies and grins. And we'll set that down like that. Okay, here we go. Okay, how you doing tonight? Just want to remind y'all, I do have free shipping going right now for orders over $50. The shipping is from me, so in order to get it, I do need you to send me an email with your order, and then I will send you a PayPal, and once that's made and paid for, I will get your order on the way. Free shipping now through Monday. All right, so now I have the same exact image twice. I'm going to set this aside and get out my cutting blade. All right, so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut both pieces down to my finished card front size, which is 3 3/4 by 5. What have I got going here? There we go. What in the world? Hang on. Okay, there it goes. All right. And we'll do the same, making sure to cut from the same end. Okay, remember I'm trying to make mirror images here. Mirror is probably not the right word, is it? Because that means opposite, but identical. How about that? Let's go with identical. All right. Okie doke. Now, here's the trick. I'm going to turn my cardstock, my front, 1/4 turn to the left, and I'm going to cut it at 3.5 inches. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to cut 1 inch off of this piece right here. And I'm going to cut it from the cut edge that I just did, okay? Don't cut from the top, cut from the cut edge. See what I'm doing here? Is I'm cutting out that 1 inch strip, all right? So I'm going to line that cut edge up with the 1 inch over there and cut that right off. Hang on to this because we're going to use it on the inside of the card. And I probably ought to shut my crumb cake because otherwise I will create myself a problemo. I know I will because that is how I roll. All right, now I'm going to pull Mr. Stampopotamus back out here and I'm going to change out my plates. I'll put this plate in. And I am using the Happy Birthday stamp sentiment from the new Happy Birthday to You stamp set. What you do here is you lay down the white piece. You know what? I'm going to wipe that off a little bit because it's going to be all over me and then it's going to go places I don't want it to. Okay, there we go. So you lay that down and then lay your Flirty Flamingo right over the top. This is the dry fit portion of the agenda. And then lay this here, and you can see how those images are already lining up. See how they're all lining up right there? Can you see that? I don't know. There you go. Can you see how they're lining up? Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking my sentiment and I'm making sure it's exactly where I want it to be in there, like so. And then I'm going to pick it up and move all of this out of the way. And then I'm going to ink it with Mossy Meadow. And making sure, thank you, Kathy, that I've got a straight image going there. Sure enough. And then I'll put my white piece back in the same exact spot. Put a magnet or two on because I'm stamping a relatively delicate sentiment image over this relatively busy background, and so I'm probably going to want to stamp it a few times, and I'd really like that cardstock to hold still. Okay, so you can see I'm going to just build it up here to get it really as dark as makes sense to me. I think one more, maybe even two. Maybe even two. We're going to use the old TLAR method, the that looks about right method. I'm doing one more just because I can. Think how hard this would be without your Stampopotamus. Just saying. Okay. And that's about the end of that. That is how easy that is. So now I'm going to take this off and we'll set him aside for now and start building up our layers. First off, I'm going to adhere my white piece, my white card front to my Mossy Meadow mat, like this. Thank you, Pam. Don't you hate it when that happens? Oh, yes. Yes, I do. I really, really do. Here we go. I really, really do. And I can do it quicker than anybody I know, really. Although with crumb cake, it's not nearly so likely as it is with tuxedo black. I can get that on places like you cannot believe so fast, would just make your head spin. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm going to take some completely uncut Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm a full dimensional person, as you are well and truly aware, and I'm going to dimensionalize my Flirty Flamingo pieces here. And then we're going to pop those onto the card front. And it's all going to be a beautiful thing. Thank you, Denise. Thanks, Barbara. All right. This is so easy. I saw the tutorial and I was like, oh yeah, Breathtaking Bouquet, that's perfect. So now the hardest piece here is just making sure that you put the pieces back on in the same direction that they're supposed to be, which is to say the same exact orientation as on the white piece. Easy peasy, she says as she attempts to get the covers off of her dimensionals. All right. I hope none of you are traveling tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a hard day to travel. If I'd tried to figure out how to do that, it would have been way more complicated. There you go. But it really is pretty darn easy. Thank you, Linda and Janie. I appreciate that. Okay, so see how easy that would have been to turn upside down? All right, now you just want to line up the edges. And you shouldn't have to worry too hard about lining up the design because it's almost done for you. See how that's working out? All those little lines look just like, this is a little bit like a triple time, but not a triple time. Maybe it's a 1.5 time. I don't know. I'm not sure what this would be called. 1 3/4 time. But I like it. Whatever it is, I like it. I think it's fun, and it's really, really handy that Stampin' Up! Put out this background stamp at the exact right moment for this particular thing. And the thing that's cool is, I mean, you could use any sentiment here. And in fact, if you had a bigger sentiment that you wanted to use there, I mean, I'm not saying I would, because I like kind of just that's what's sitting there. But you could actually, instead of cutting 1 inch off, you could cut 1 1/8 or 1 1/4 if you wanted, and get the same kind of effect, right? Oh, see what I almost did there? Did you see that? Did you see it? Now, I have actually found it helps to turn it over and go like this, because I like to be able to see those corners and edges. There we go. There. Let me pick that up because I don't really like it. It's a little bit, just a little bit crookedy, just enough to make me go, oh no, that's not quite right. I just want it perfect, you know, perfect. There we go. That's a little better. All right. So that is the card front, and now I'm going to make a quick bow. Real easy. Yeah, Julie, it's beautiful. Thanks. Okay, so now we're going to do, make sure I've got my tweezers. Where's my tweezers? Tweezers, where are you, tweezers? Oh, there you go. Okay. We're going to do a double loop bow out of some linen thread, and I'm going to kind of squish my fingers together so that it's not too huge, and we're going to go around 4 squished fingers once, twice, 3 times, oh lady, and 4 times. And then we'll go around 2 of my squished fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. And give that a little cut. Like so. Alright, now I've got my 2 loops, and I'm going to bring them together and give a twist to make a figure 8. And take my handy dandy tweezers and squeeze that shut. I'll take a small length of the thread and tie at the center. Easy and also peasy. Ooh, there we go. Okay. Like that. And then is the fiddle phase. You got the fiddle phase coming up. This is when you fiddle with this bow to make it perfectly messy, like Farrah Fawcett's hair. I'm sure that it took her hours to get it looking like she just got out of bed. When I just get out of bed, my hair is all flattened up on my head, except for the one little pieces that are sticking up in the back. So I feel relatively confident that Farrah spent hours making her head look like it does, because real humans don't have hair that looks like that when they get out of bed. I'm just saying. And if any of you do, I apologize, but I think you might be an android. I'm not sure. Okay. So now I'm just going to let those little tails hang down, because that's about as messy as I like. And then I'll take a glue dot and adhere it. Well, I'm going to cut off a little bit of paper here. I've got a surfeit of paper. I'm going to put my glue dot right about there, kind of squish it a little bit, and then set my linen thread bow like that. And then to finish it off, I'll use a little bit of my Mossy Meadow linen thread to tie a simple bow, like this. Easy, an easy little simple bow. You know, 4 years ago, having to tie a bow, certainly tying a bow on camera, would have caused me to have a panic attack. But now, I'm like a pro bow. I'm a pro bow. I'm a pro bower. No, never mind. That wasn't nearly as funny when I said it out loud. Okay, so I just stuck that on top of the double loop bow with a little bit of liquid glue. And now to make it all pretty, I'm going to use a couple 3 rhinestone cowboys. And let's see, where did you go? Come back here, come back here. All right, and we're going to stick, let's see, get out the way. We're going to put a couple down here. Like that. And then one more on the other side of the sentiment, and that's going to be it for the card front. So I can assure you it took me longer to tell you how to do this than it really does to do it. Okay, and that is the card front. So let's get the innards done. I'll pull out my other piece of Whisper White, which has conveniently and handily disappeared. All right, and to start with, I'm going to get my Stampopotamus back out and turn over this panel. And I've already got my second, let me be sure I've got the right, I think I do. Yes, no, that needs to be 5 inches. So let me fix that. Let me fixate that. I want a 3 3/4 inch by 5 inch piece for my inner liner in the same way as my card front was. 3 3/4. Apparently my brain forgot that when I was preparing the pieces for the video. It was like, no, it must be the other way. It must be the other way, Mary. Okay, so we're going to put this right back where it was. And I've got the To You sentiment from Happy Birthday to You. And we're going to use a little bit of Mossy Meadow. Mossy Meadow, where did you go? Let me try this. I have an old flower stamp from, yep, that would probably work. One stamp would give us lots more linen thread. Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Yes, more linen thread, every single color. We need blends, we need linen thread in every single color. And that's all that I'm gonna do there. Get this out the way. Oh shoot, fire, now I've got Rhinestone Cowboy in my head. Darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it. Okay, now let's see. With my crumb cake, I'm gonna use the little dots image from the same set, Happy Birthday to You, and I'm just gonna add them a couple of times around the sentiment. Like that. And guess what? There was 0 rhyme and even less reason to how I did that. Now, remember that piece that we cut out? I'm just going to mat it on Mossy Meadow and put it at the bottom of my panel. All right, everybody call Stampin' Up! Tomorrow and tell them we demand linen thread in every color, and also Stampin' Blends. And also we want more, we want the Delicata inks back, and we want more Winks of Stella colors. Basically we just want more of everything, right? More. How do you like it? How do you like it? More, more, more. Yes, I am a child of the 80s. Well, actually, child of the 60s, 70s, 80s. All right, and then I'm just going to mat this before I put that little strip on. Like so. Be sure this is the right size. It still is. Look at that. It worked. Y'all, we went to Cracker Barrel this morning for breakfast with our friends, and it took us an hour and a half. I'm not even kidding. An hour and a half. And the store was partially empty. It was ridiculous. Well, we're a little short-staffed. Oh, good. Okay. And that would explain why the food was cold and the bacon was either burned or undercooked. Actually, my husband's bacon was both burned and undercooked. Yes, that takes some real skill, just saying. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put this inside my crumb cake card base, like this. No, it took me an hour and a half to get food done. Like, so we got there at 5 or 6 after 9. She came by and asked if we wanted other than water. And I told her I wanted some lemon for my water and I would like a cup of coffee. 20 minutes later, no coffee, no lemon. She finally shows up. Actually, she took our order at the same time. But 20 minutes later, there was no coffee, no lemon. We saw this one guy, this poor man, he's like walking around the restaurant holding his coffee cup, like trying to chase down the coffee holder. He wanted coffee so badly and wasn't getting any. And she finally comes and she goes, would you like some biscuits while you wait? So she brings biscuits and we all ate the biscuits. And then finally, like an hour after we got there, maybe an hour and 15 after we got there, she brought the food. It was crazy, just crazy. And I won't tell you what my husband found when he went in the bathroom, but it was disgusting and had not been cleaned up. And when he mentioned it as he checked out, she was like, oh, well, we're short-staffed. Okay, well, you have a hazmat issue in the bathroom. Just saying. Jeez, oh, Pete. There wasn't enough washy-washy in the world to fix what he discovered in there. So we sent a scathing email to the corporate, and I am certain that they will be probably sending their biggest, highest level corporate bigwigs to this restaurant to see what in the world is going on based on the Deathridge's report on 30 November 2019, which means to say nothing will happen, nothing will change, and we will just never go to the Cracker Barrel again, which is disappointing because it's only like 10 minutes from the house. It's right around the corner, and it's wonderful to be able to go and have a nice breakfast, but not there. We're going to have a different spot. Okay, and so now I have just popped this card front on with dimensionals, and that is it for the card. Good help is hard to find these days. It really, really is. It really, really is. Okay, so now let me finish up my envelope. Yeah, Kathy, fortunately, we were done. We were on the way out. I have zero doubt that if my husband had gone to the bathroom going in, we'd have been gone, because it wasn't okay. Let's just say that. Okay, so in a little bit of a departure from my normal card front, I am going to stamp the Celebrate stamp from the Happy Birthday to You set on the front in Waldmoos, which is some or another language for Mossy Meadow. I'm just going to hold it on there to be sure I get a good image, and there we go. No, and that was the other piece, Faith, is the people are like, so they're obviously behind, distressingly behind, and the people are moving like snails. So you can forgive a lot if it looks like people care and it looks like people are trying to get the job done, right? But they just were not. They really were acting like they didn't care. And not one time did a manager person or anybody come by. Nobody. Just nobody. I'll be surprised if he was even there. All right. And there I've just added some of the little dots in crumb cake. You know, Karen, that's just bad because Cracker Barrel, except here, people count on it. I know I count on it because it's the same everywhere. It's supposed to be the same everywhere. You can simply count on Cracker Barrel to be good. I've always had good food at Cracker Barrel. But boy, this one, Okay, so I'm using a piece of Flirty Flamingo paper, the one with the script writing on it, from the Brights 6x6 DSP for my envelope flap. Since I didn't use a DSP in my card, that was the one I picked. Because I'm just that so smart. But maybe the most disappointing thing is that I blew like 1,000 calories for breakfast and it just wasn't that great. That was a little disappointing. I'm not going to lie, the hash brown casserole was good as always. Yes, if they care, if they come and they apologize, but we couldn't even find our waitress to say, hey, how about that coffee that you promised us 20 minutes ago? Or, hey, do you think we could have a warm-up on our coffee? Or, hey, any chance that you've gone and bought the chickens and raised them to egg-laying age and cooked any of their eggs? I mean, my goodness. And the other thing is you know how they always have that round table right by the where you walk into the restaurant part? That's where we were. So it wasn't like we were hidden in the back corner where people could forget us. We were right in the middle of everything and nothing. All right, so now all through my yakking, I've just finished my envelope, and here is the finished product. So I hope you like this. I think this is a really fun technique. I know you guys have been chatting amongst yourselves about various background stamps that you might have. And we have several. There's a bunch of background stamps in the annual catalog. And then this one is going to come out soon. For January is when this will be available to customers. But just so you know, just throwing it out there, if you feel like you'd like to join us, you could now. And you could use, the pre-order starts for us this week. And you can use the pre-order to fill your starter kit. So if that sounds good to you, if you're interested in it at all, give me a holler. And in the meantime, don't forget free shipping. So I will see you guys next week in December. Thank you for spending part of your night with me. We'll see you. Bye.